So it sounds like you started investing there in your own backyard. You want to talk about some kind of like research tips? It sounds like that was a pretty heavily weighted decision or influence on why you chose that market.
Yeah.
Just looking at expanding, what kind of things are you looking at when you're choosing a short-term rental market versus any other type of real estate?
Yeah, so there are a couple different ways to do it. The honestly the most interesting way I found was through a YouTube channel, and the host was talking about doing and we accidentally did this without even realizing, is he invests in areas where you're close to a national park or a national forest entrance. And the reason being is there are millions of people, like, I mean, Smoky Mountains alone brings in what, like 12 to 15 million people a year. There's already a built-in audience there,
Yeah,
audience, quote unquote.
yeah,
People are already coming there, and it's like they're most of these people are already driving to this area. Investing in mountains, I have found, is easier than investing in the beach, because you can find land with mountain views easier than like being directly on the beach. There's only one beach.
definitely.
There's multiple mountain ranges, or like there's multiple hills and everything. So we
I'd say it's
like to.
less seasonal too,
It's way
right?
less season, huge,
People
man.
like to sit
And
in a hot tub in the snow, and then when the weather's
right,
nice, they like to
right.
get out
And
and hike and
honestly,
bike.
like our first cabin looks prettier in the winter. You get like almost a 200-degree mountain view in the winter when everything goes, all the leaves go away.
Yeah,
So we invest in mountains, like mountain views. Access is huge. That's actually the number one thing to look for, is think about your guests. Think about what they're going to be driving through. Like, I don't want my guests to be going like 15 minutes down a gravel road or up a gravel road, to be able to get to my property. It's like, think about like most of my guests. Some of my guests are like driving in at night, and this is the first time they're visiting the area, and it's like pitch black outside in the mountains. So you got to be thinking about, like, you don't want your guests to be pissed like right when they get to the property, like, oh, that was terrible, like I got to
they're
go through that.
scared to get there.
Right, yeah. And the
100 foot
like
drop off the
it's like
side.
they're not gonna care about the popcorn that you laid out for them, or like the bottle of wine you laid out. Like, they're gonna be pissed. So access is huge. Investing in areas that already have, like, again, the national park type of thing, the forest, like we have the Blue Ridge Mountains here, the national forest. And then another strategy that I recently learned, which I haven't implemented yet, but it's super. When I was at the Bigger Pockets conference, they had a short-term rental panel, and one of the people, a part of that panel, was talking about she invests in areas that have like a very large hospital around them, where she broke it out as in vacation rentals and short-term rentals are completely different, which is an interesting thing to learn, which is she does 30-day rentals, anywhere between
Traveling
30 to
nurses.
45 days. And that's a gray area where almost every single area in the country will allow that, because most of the areas, most of the zoning don't allow for 30 days and under. So that was another interesting strategy to learn. That's a completely different model than what we're doing, but um, that's another way to do it. If you're in an area that you're like, okay, I'm not really in an area where I'm really known for anything, like the city's not known for anything, you could do a short-term rental around like a hospital or something. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You capture the traveling nurses.
right,
Yeah, that's what I
Um,
was gonna say. Traveling nurses or people that are getting like some kind of long-term,
right,
treatment or something like that.
absolutely,
yeah,
Yep.
I,
yeah, yeah,
I used to work in a hospital, and I've had multiple nurses tell me like traveling nurses will pay, whatever for a cool place to live while they're in town.
yeah. Why not?
And that's interesting you mentioned that because, I don't know if Vince told you, I'm living in Fayetteville right now, which is like, Army base here, but no one's really vacationing. And I've got some buddies that do short-term rentals here, and apparently it's very hot because it's like almost the exact midway point from New York City and Miami. So
There you go.
tons of people stopping by. Real quick,